Representatives of the leading British religious communities have called on British Prime Minister Boris Johnson to rethink asylum policy. In their letter to Johnson, published on Monday, the clergy are calling for changes to the proposed tightened British immigration law, which is due to be debated in London's House of Lords on Monday. They are horrified and shocked by the plans and warn that the law in its current form would fundamentally damage human dignity and other British values. As conflict and injustice still exist in the world, there will always be desperate people who need to seek refuge from war, persecution and suffering, the letter reads. We can't close our door on them, but this bill does just that. Specifically, the criticism is directed at the Conservative government's plan to significantly curtail the rights of people who come to Great Britain and apply for asylum there. For example, people who enter the country illegally, like tens of thousands across the English Channel last year, are to be criminalized, which would affect their chances of asylum. At the same time, however, no legal routes would be created through which asylum seekers could enter the country, according to the criticism. The more than 1,000 signatories to the Ecumenical Alliance's open letter include the former Archbishop of Canterbury, Rowan Williams, and leading representatives of Muslim and Jewish religious communities. Regaining control of one's own border was one of the key promises of Brexit. Home Secretary Priti Patel has repeatedly made proposals to deter refugees, which experts say would violate international law. The Dutch-British oil company Shell wants to end its cooperation with the Russian gas monopoly Gazprom and associated companies. This affects, among other things, the participation in the Sakhalin-2 liquid gas plant. In addition, the cooperation on the Nord Stream 2 pipeline project will be terminated, Shell announced on Monday. We are shocked by the loss of life in Ukraine, said CEO Ben van Beurden. He spoke of a senseless act of military aggression that threatens European security, and the CEO emphasized, our immediate focus is on the safety of our employees in Ukraine and the support of our employees in Russia. The day before, the British energy group BP sold its shares in the Russian oil company Rosneft. BP had held a 19.75% stake in Rosneft since 2013. The exit was also linked to the resignation of BP boss Bernard Looney and his predecessor Bob Dudley as members of the Rosneft board of directors, the group said in a statement on Sunday. According to British media reports, BP gave in under pressure from the government in London. The UK joins the ECB and US Fed in sanctions against the Russian central bank. Natural or legal persons from the United Kingdom should be prohibited from conducting financial transactions with the central bank, the Russian National Property Fund, and the Ministry of Finance of the Russian Federation, the government announced in London on Monday. These measures demonstrate our determination to impose tough economic sanctions in response to Russia's invasion of Ukraine, Finance Minister Rishi Sunak said. The central bank also is to be involved. The Bank of England will continue to take all necessary steps to assist the government in its response to Russia's invasion of Ukraine, said Bank of England Governor Andrew Bailey. The new sanctions also include restrictions on Russian financial institutions. In addition, Russian companies are to be prevented from issuing securities and money market instruments in Great Britain. Russian banks are also to be prevented from accessing British pounds and from processing payments via Great Britain. According to information from Brussels and Berlin, the EU put into effect the announced serious sanctions against the Russian central bank during the night to Monday. They include a ban on central bank transactions related to Russia's large currency reserves in euros. In addition, the assets of the bank in the EU are confiscated. According to his own statements, the Russian oligarch Roman Abramovich and owner of the English football club FC Chelsea should try to mediate between the conflicting parties in the Ukraine war. Abramovich was contacted by the Ukrainian side and asked for help in efforts to find a peaceful solution, a spokesman for the 55-year-old Russian told the British PA news agency on Monday. Abramovich has been trying to help since then, but with a view to what is at stake, no further details can be given, it said. Abramovich announced on Saturday that he wanted to hand over the administration of the English Champions League winners Chelsea to the administrators of the football club's charitable foundation. The oligarch had previously come under increasing criticism for his closeness to Russian President Vladimir Putin. Demands for sanctions against the Chelsea owner grew louder. It's a defeat for the AXA. French insurer AXA SA has had to compensate the owner of Corbin & King's Wolseley restaurant in London for multiple business disruptions caused by COVID-19. The case could be a symbolic one. The Supreme Court of Great Britain had finally ruled against the insurers in business closure insurance last year. The insurers had wrongly refused to pay the pandemic-damaged entrepreneurs, and there were further lawsuits. However, the Supreme Court's ruling did not apply to all of the wording in the insurance policies, and insurers often disputed the amount of the payouts, such as AXA in the Inception Group case. In the case of Corbin & King against AXA, another aspect has been added in addition to the amount of the payment. In this case, the denial of access coverage was the key point. This insurance aims to protect the insured premises that are closed by the authorities for health reasons. The court judged per injured party. 6 Corbin & King restaurants were each entitled to payments of up to £250,000 for 3 separate periods when the UK government banned access to their premises, the High Court ruled. AXA noted the court's decision and will check them carefully, said a spokesman, according to Business Insurance, that is a website. Chelsea coach Thomas Tuchel does not expect the partial withdrawal of owner Roman Abramovich to have any direct effects on the club for the time being. "I don't think anything will change for me in day-to-day business," he said after his team lost the League Cup final against Liverpool. He is in close contact with sports director Marina Granovskaya and technical advisor Piotr Cech. "I take care of the first team, give my input and do my best to win football games," said Tuchel. And he said, "That won't change that." Russian owner Abramovich, as I said earlier in the video, announced on February 26th that he would relinquish control of the Russian football club. Because of the Russian invasion of Ukraine, calls had been made in Great Britain to impose sanctions on Abramovich. The billionaire is accused of being close to Kremlin boss Vladimir Putin, and I can't repeat that often enough. Less than 2 weeks after pausing a vaccination study in pregnant women, the pharmaceutical company GlaxoSmithKline has now stopped testing a vaccine against the respiratory syncytial virus, the RSV, in this group. The British company announced on Monday in London that the test should not be pursued further. The task of the vaccination study on pregnant women should not have any impact on a study for older people over 60 years of age. GSK expects the first results by the summer. In mid-February, GSK announced that it was suspending the study for an RSV vaccine due to safety concerns, but there are no more details on that. During the pause, it was only said that the decision was made on the advice of independent experts after routine safety tests. For the Brits, the disruption is a bit of a setback. GlaxoSmithKline was trying to gain a foothold in a potentially multi-billion-dollar market where there is yet no vaccine against the RS virus. However, antibodies can be administered to people who are particularly at risk. British media regulator Ofcom launched 15 investigations into RT news programs on Monday. They had observed a significant increase in the number of programs on RT requiring an investigation under the Broadcasting Code, the agency said in a statement. The investigations will cover 15 episodes of the hourly newscast aired on February 27th from 5 a.m. to 7 p.m., inclusive on RT, and are being accelerated given the gravity and urgency of the current crisis. When dealing with important issues such as the Ukraine crisis, all Ofcom licensees must observe the specific requirements for impartiality set out in the code. These rules require broadcasters to take additional steps to ensure full impartiality by incorporating and giving due weight to a wide range of significant views, Ofcom said. Earlier, British Prime Minister Boris Johnson asked Ofcom to screen RT for violations, saying he believed the channel's materials were damaging the truth. And I'll see you in my next video. Bis gleich.